Hi everyone, this is Mr. Shields here to show you another way to figure out which digits are significant and which aren't. So, if you remember, the last time we talked about significant figures, we said that any number from 1 through 9 is always significant. So I'm actually going to list them out for you. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are always significant. The only number or figure that is sometimes significant is 0. Sometimes 0 counts, sometimes it doesn't. If 0 is found in the middle of a number, meaning there are non-zero numbers on both edges, then we know that that 0 is significant. If the 0 is trailing, meaning it's towards the end, that 0 is only significant if there's a decimal point present. So that's what we talked about last time. But if we take a look at the map of the United States, we can actually use a different method, and that I like to call the Pacific Atlantic method. So if you look at the United States, New York, us here on Long Island is over on this right side. We swim in the Atlantic Ocean, and Atlantic starts with A. So we're going to correlate Atlantic with the word absent. And if you look at the Western United States, where California, Oregon, Washington are all located, well, they swim in the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is here. So that we're going to correlate with present, because present and Pacific both start with P, absent and Atlantic both start with A. And so the way that it works is if you see a decimal point present, you are going to start counting from the Pacific side. You can't start counting until you reach a number that is not 0. After that, you can count any number afterwards. So if you look here, let's see. So if you look here, we have this 5, and that 5 is going to show you that you can start counting here. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger for you. Let's see if I can change the zoom. There, that should be a little better. So if you look down here, because we're starting with a 5, you can count all of these zeros. They are all significant, and that's a result of the decimal point being present. So present decimal point, I start counting from the Pacific side, which is on the left. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant figures. Now, if there's no decimal point present, and let's move me here. If there are no decimal point present, then you can start counting from the right side, the Atlantic side, where it would be absent. No decimal point present, absent. So I start counting over here on the right. Now, I can't start counting if there is a 0. I can only start counting with a non-zero number. So in this case, I cannot start counting, I cannot start counting, and there is one significant figure here. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so let me go over it briefly. What if I were to change this? What if I were to put a decimal point here, right? Well, now I've changed everything. Now, if we're going by our old rules, these trailing zeros are significant. That's how the old rules work, because if a decimal point is present, trailing zeros count. So there are 1, 2, 3 significant figures here. Now, if I were to do it using the present Pacific method, well, look, okay, decimal point present, that means I count from the Pacific side. 1, 2, 3 significant figures. So it's all about checking if that decimal point is present. And I can do the same thing here. Initially, there was a decimal point present, but what if I were to change that to a comma, right? Well, now there is no decimal point. Therefore, that would be the absent side. So I would start counting from here. I can only start counting when I get a non-zero number. Nope, 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 because those are all zeros. I can only start counting with a non-zero. And there would actually only be one significant figure found here. So the two ways that we can determine significant figures are using the Pacific Atlantic method or using the trailing zeros method. In both examples, you have to look for the decimal point. The decimal point is going to be what tells you if the zeros are significant or not. Thanks for